So in the year 2011, I saw The Smurfs, and this happened in my review.
It's so bad! It is so freaking bad! This movie is just... I hate it.
And so today, I saw the sequel. Let's talk about it. The Smurfs 2 is directed by Raja Gosnell, the man behind Home Alone 3, Never Been Kissed, Big Mama's House, Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, Yours, Mine, and Ours, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and The Smurfs. In this film, Smurfette, voiced by Katy Perry, is kidnapped by Gargamel, played by Hank Azaria, because he needs Smurf essence to be able to use his magic, because apparently his magical powers are running out. He wants to rule the world. He's now a famous celebrity who performs magician shows in front of humongous crowds who view him as like essentially God because he can literally wield magic. At the same time, we have Neil Patrick Harris and his family back again, and Brendan Gleeson as his stepfather, and they didn't have the best childhood together because, you know, he's a stepfather and that doesn't always work out, and they have to learn to be friends again while a few other Smurfs go out to try to rescue Smurfette, who is now a damsel in distress at the hands of Gargamel. Now, in my original review for The Smurfs, I said this.
The movie is so bad, it's not going to make any money at all. It's opening with Crazy Stupid Love and Cowboys and Aliens.
And I admit that I was completely wrong. That movie actually made $563 million worldwide. Yes, $500 million was made by The Smurfs. Wow. And naturally now we have a sequel. How was it? Look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, okay? This is not a movie that's for me, and I know that. I go into this movie, and I know that more than likely, I'm probably not going to enjoy it, but I'm willing to give it a chance, as I do with all movies. That's why I went to the film. Every time I go to a screening and sit down in front of the movie screen, I'm giving the film a chance. That's how I give it a chance. And like I said, I am not going to sugarcoat this. This movie isn't for me. This is a movie made for very young children, and very young children will probably enjoy it. It's filled with slapstick humor. It's filled with fart jokes and spit jokes, and lots and lots of cuss words that are replaced with the word Smurf constantly. And that's really it. So if you're going to bring your kids to this movie, or someone else's kids, don't steal other people's kids. That's bad. I mean, if you're babysitting someone, that's what I meant. They'll probably enjoy it. I went with my friend and his two daughters really enjoyed the film. That's not an excuse for a crappy movie, because The Smurfs 2 is a very crappy movie. Just like the first one, this movie is littered with product placement. This comes from Columbia Pictures, which is owned by Sony. Every single product in this movie is a Sony product. The first half of the movie is nothing but Gargamel looking at tablets from Sony and thinking, wow, what is this magical contraption called a tablet? Oh, I can swipe on it. Like, he literally looks at it, holds it, and goes, whoa, I swipe. I like the swiping motion. It's literally a commercial for Sony tablets. It's absurd. One of the characters in this movie gets turned into a duck, and some humans walk by this duck and are like, wow, what's going on there? The duck looks at them and goes, global warming, buy a Prius. Wow. These movies are made to sell stuff, okay? And that's really what it is. It's a merchandising effort. They're not made with any real talent except for the animation. The animation is great. Whoever did the animation for this movie, good job, because they're really good at it. And that's really the only good thing I can say about this movie. Hank Azaria is not funny at all as Gargamel. He's a big bumbling guy who makes weird faces with buck teeth and he falls down a lot. That's essentially the humor of his character. His whole plan is so idiotic. He wants to rule the world by creating Smurf essence and getting more power to use his magic and everything. But he's already essentially a god on Earth to humans. Like when he walks into an amusement park, everyone just looks at him like, oh my god, it's Gargamel. Oh, you're so amazing. He's already a god. He has actual magic powers in a wand that he can use. He doesn't need anything else to rule the world. He can rule the world any second he wants to. Except he wants to create a huge diabolical plan because he's running out of essence, which means he won't be able to do his magic. I get it. He doesn't need some big diabolical plan. He has the ability to generate whatever he wants. He can rule the world in an instant. The whole story with Neil Patrick Harris and Brendan Gleeson, for some reason is in this movie, is there to teach some kids a lesson, and I can understand that it's supposed to be there and why it's there. It's not for me, okay? The Smurfs 2 is not a film made for me. The Smurfs is definitely for kids. Adults may find it mildly enjoyable. They might not hate themselves as they watch it, but I sat there just thinking, this movie is made to sell things. I mean, every 2 seconds of this movie is a product placement of some kind. I just can't stand the idiotic acting and the slapstick humor. It's all so annoyingly stupid, and the voice acting. Oh my gosh. One of the Smurfs is named Vanity, and he basically spends the entire movie looking at himself in mirrors and making jokes about himself, and it literally wasn't funny the first time, but the rest of the movie is him looking at a mirror and going, "You are sexy," and making a joke about how good looking he is. The cat falls down a lot, the cat gets wet a lot, you know, it's all just the same things over and over. And I can't really stand it. I didn't like the Smurfs 2 at all. I'm not going to give this film a higher grade simply because it's not for my demographic. I do like children's films if they're made well, and I can tell you that if I had kids right now and I had the choice to show them Toy Story or the Smurfs, there's no choice at all. It's Toy Story because it's a great film that actually can teach kids a little bit, not just about filmmaking, but about relationships and friendships. The Smurfs is one of those movies that is just entertainment for children with a couple good moral lessons in there. And I'm not going to give the film a good grade simply because I'm an adult. It's filled with the newest pop songs to be able to sell a cool pop song album, and I just don't. It might be a slight improvement over the first one simply because I didn't feel like walking out as soon as I felt like walking out of the first one. That's pretty much the best compliment that I can give the Smurfs 2. It's not for me. And I don't think it's a good film for kids. You know, they'll sit there and not be bored, but I don't really think it's going to teach them anything important or good or... I'm gonna give the Smurfs 2 a D-. You know, it might be a slight improvement over the first one. I can't quite give it an F. You know, like it's not one of those movies where I was just like, no. It was more like, no. Which isn't as bad as an F, I guess. So thanks very much for watching, guys. If you see the film, let me know what you thought of it, but don't see it. Just my advice. Thanks very much, guys, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.